All things Bulldogs, mate.
All things Bulldogs, YouTube,
Yeah.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday
live.
night. That's it. Every week, mate.
All things Bulldogs. Big shout out. Up the doggies.
Every Tuesday night we do a podcast, mate. Our biggest supporters, mate. All things Bulldogs.
All things Bulldogs.
Yeah. Josh.
And g'day, doggies fans, all things Bulldogs, summer edition, episode 1. Welcome to Gas. Merry Christmas to everyone who had their Christmas. Wasn't too active, didn't say too much, but I hope everyone had a good time. And also looking forward to the New Year's and the holiday season for whatever you're into. But welcome to you, Scotty Wood. I hope you had a great Christmas and also have a safe and enjoyable New Year's. Showy 68's here as well. But how are you, Gas? What have you been up to, mate, in paradise?
Yeah, all good, mate. Just been chilling out, mate. Enjoying a few days off. G'day, everyone. Merry Christmas and everything. G'day, Aki, Scotty, Showy, and who's that? Dial Zamley 1145. So
Welcome to you.
G'day,
First
everyone.
commentator.
Yes.
Long time listener.
Yes.
Thanks for saying hello, everyone. Remember to go and like and subscribe. Dave Miller's here, right? Yeah, David, look, I've decided to bite the bullet. If people want some merch, let me know. Send me messages or whatever. I'm happy to organise and, not make it too costly. There's another one, a bucket hat. So we've got a bit of merch out there. I've been wearing it in public. Couple of weird looks. But look, I've been out doing deliveries and there we go. All things Bulldogs. That was last year's present that I gave to, or 2025's present and 2024's. I had a few of those. So I was giving them away to people who help out a lot. G'day, Jamie. I'll send you one of those too if you want, brother, for all your help. Send you out I've got some car fresheners and the like, vanilla flavored. Apparently they're really good for your lungs, so breathe it in, mate. Breathe it in. And is that you? Is that you, Brad? 26BJD, I think it is, and I think you joined up the dog father, so I owe you the dog father needs to give you a call and see if you want to be the limo driver. But it's huge responsibility, and it's usually the last job anyone gets. But anyway, I'm not sure if Gas even knows about the limo drivers of the dog father. I'll have to explain that one to him one day. But it's good. We're getting a lot of people on saying hello, which is fantastic. G'day, Pro 5Tay. Up the doggies. And what's new around the ground, boys? Our doggies. Well, I'll go into all of that. We're going to talk about a fair bit tonight. We'll look at our best 17s. We'll keep looking at that. It's for a lot of people, though, it's going to be pretty similar until they see people evolve and come out. Till we see those first few games, and will depend how that progresses. But look, I'm expecting to see a lot of these young guys debut this year. We're going to talk about I'm on Patreon now, so get on there and become a member there if you like. There's a whole different bunch of options. I'm actually going to bring out an option where, if you're into merch and all that sort of stuff and want to support and you like some of this stuff, where you would actually get that as part of the membership. But I'm still looking at all that and trying to, it takes a while to get your hands in there and sort of understand how to make it the best it can be. I'm pretty good with YouTube now. Facebook, still learning Facebook because they change things all the time. But, and then there's the TikToks and everything else. So lots of ways for us to interact and lots of ways you can help support the community, as we're saying. That's Ben from the sunny coast, not Brad. Glad to be a member anyway. Thanks to you, mate. Yeah, I got a message from one of the guys who's actually been on before, Brad, and I forgot what his YouTube handle was. And he's he joined up the Dogfather one, which is about $10 a month or something. G'day, Scary 79. And thank you to you for being a member for so long. With the Dogfather, much help from there. But what's happening, Gas? What's on the agenda tonight?
So we've got quite a few things to talk about today. So obviously Vegas is coming up fast, so we're going to talk about the best 17 as we get close. We're also going to do a pick the 17 competition, so everyone else can get involved as well. There's a great article that Michael wrote, everyone, about Lachlan Galvin and why he's our natural number 7. That was a very good read. I'm not sure if you all got through that in the Dogfather media, but it's a good one to have a look at. But we'll have a chat about that today as well, and Michael will give us his insight on why he wrote that one. And also, obviously, Michael's got some more information about Willie Mason and his acting debut. So, quite a few things, guys. And obviously, we'll be here to answer your questions as well. So anything you've got, throw it on there and we'll tackle it as we can.
Thanks, brother. Much appreciated, mate. Willie Mason. So, yeah, we'll talk about Willie Mason's new show on Stan called Sunny Nights. Dave did a really good review of it. You know him as D. He's a big help with a lot of ideas for articles and stuff as well. He actually came up with quite a fair few of the points on the Galvin article. Funnily enough, he read the article of Scott Pride, who's the editor of Zero Tackle, who I do a lot of articles for. And look, most editors are going to run with the natural narratives. The easiest pathway to clicks and views is where they're going to go. Plus, some people believe those narratives to be true. So, and that's their opinion, but that gives me lots of things. And he read my Galvin article and said he can't wait to put it up. So there you go. He'll be putting that up on Zero Tackle as well, which sort of contradicts a lot of the things that he said himself. And that's the idea of independent media, is he can have all these different articles and opinions and narratives to create talking points for everyone. And look, I'd rather be talking about this than some of the crap that we've had to endure lately, put it that way. It's a nice little thing to focus on. Thank you, Scotty. I can see, you give us a nice little thumbs up on the Dogfather media on the Galvin article. I will go through it with everyone. But, www.dogfathermedia.com.au. Go there and click on Dogfather media articles. You can read them all there. Could be the best 19, not 17 boys after the proposed rule changes. Yes, and Gus did allude to that yesterday, that he's hearing quite a bit of noise that some of these rule changes are going to come through. Funny game rugby league is what he ended it with. So what, they want to have 6 interchange players? Is that correct, Gus?
But I think only use 4 still.
Oh, so you can pick from any 6, but use 4 to give you more flexibility. If there is an injury, you can replace them with the right type of player. Is that
potentially
along the line?
And then they would also obviously then cover if there's any additional where there's foul play involved and you lost a player, then you probably get one of those players in there as well. So we'll see. There's a few other rule changes that they're talking about at the moment. Some more than others. I mean, they've been talking about switching the kickoffs around as well. So the team that scores, etc., rather than the team that loses to kick off. So the one who's conceded the try, the ball back.
We used to do winners kick at school because, especially when it was one team would get all the best players against the shittier players. But look, I think it's a stupid rule, winners kick. I don't really like it. I like the fact that they go for the short kickoff and that competition for that. I still think, though, if you fuck up that kick and it goes out in the full, there should be a penalty to the other side. Like, I don't see they wanted to encourage people to go for it all the time. And this is what I mean. Instead of having the rules stay the same and then have people evolve actions into games to make the game more competitive and less predictable, they actually change the rule to actually make it so people do that in certain situations 100% of the time, which essentially just makes the game more predictable. I think they also like that from a betting point of view. A lot of this stuff, Volandes, a lot of his stuff is to do with gambling, and people need to get their head around that. He'll never say that. But if you don't think the gambling industry isn't involved in finding more exciting ways for people to bet, to have a crack, to make more money and more profit, they try, and if they can influence the game to do that as well, plus of all the other things that influence the game, like having a competitive game, having a high scoring game, having a game which is predictable in some ways, but unpredictable in others. That's the sort of stuff that they look at.
So they're actually looking at giving the option to the conceding team, though, so they can choose whether they want to receive or kick off themselves. So it'll be more of a choice as well. So they may decide to keep it the same the way it is now. They've conceded, they kick back off, or they might say we want to receive it. So that's what one of the changes is looking at. Obviously, the 6-player bench. Obviously, you only choose 4. The 8 still remain for the interchanges, still 8. And the other one is the no 7-tackle punishment. So 20-meter play the ball if a player drops the ball over the line. So if in the act of scoring, you drop the ball over the line, rather than that now becoming previously a 7-tackle set, it'll just be a 6-tackle set. And the last one is the 6 again. They're talking about awarding the 6 agains outside of the team's 20-meter zone, not just from the 40-meter line as it is now. So that looks like probably taking away the kick for touch.
All right, can we go? Let's go into these. Really good summary, but so good that I want to break it down further. So let's go back to the if you drop the ball over the line in the act of scoring a try, it's not gonna be a 7-tackle set. Is that right?
That's what. So all these 4 rule changes are still on the table, but that's one of them. So 20-meter play the ball when a player drops the ball over the try line. So rather than no 7 tackles, it'll just be the normal 6 tackles, not the 7 tackles. So if you kick a ball dead, it'll still be 7 tackles. But if you lose the ball in an act of scoring over the try line, it won't be 7 tackles, it'll be a 6 tackle. That's what they're talking about. So yeah, so that's one of them there.
I think
like that. So
it's a great idea. In and out like
a bit there, mate.
Yeah, so your face isn't there, but mine is.
Mm-hmm.
We're having a few technical difficulties, guys, but
yeah, I think
of your questions. Mahidia's family, he likes the idea of extra players on the bench. Shoei said they're talking about an option to kick or receive. Are they serious? That change is ridiculous. Ron says 100%. 100% Michael re-gambling. First offload bets, love first try assist. Welcome back, Gas.
Yeah, I haven't left, mate. I've still been here. Yours was cutting in and out.
Oh, was it? Could people hear what I've been saying, or because
we could still hear you were still on, mate? Yeah.
Oh, cool. You disappeared. The vision
right.
of you disappeared. We'll see what it looks like in the video, in the replay. First offload bets, laugh out loud, first try assist. Yeah, that'll be the next ones. Yeah, look, I really like the idea of that only a 6-tackle set from the 20-meter. because there's less people competing heavily for the ball in the fear of knocking it on. And, you go from being on the attack, earning everything you've got. You're down there, you're trying to get back in the game. You put up a beautiful kick. Just there's a slight bobble into the hand of someone else as you're grabbing it. Like back in the day, if you came down with the ball in your hand, that was the mark. But now they freeze it to see if it touched your hand, then touched someone else's before you gripped it properly. Like no one ever gave a shit about that in the day. It was a mark if you came down with the ball. It was your ball sort of thing. And what happens is that people, they go up there Kazali, sorry to use the AFL term, and slight bobble on the ball, the other team gets a 7-tackle set. Like there's no reward. Next minute you're down by 14 because and you're trying to defend 7-tackle sets, and then on the 5th tackle you give away a penalty, and then you're on your own bloody try line again. I think it just makes it a more natural sort of, it brings more attack if there's less of a penalty to give away, if that makes sense. And it sort of comes back to that thing where they want to encourage people to kick short by not penalising them. But that's different. That's when you're on your own try line. Or when you're on your own, and I guess they're trying to do that to stop the big forwards getting the ball on halfway off the back fence, running it back. They want to stop, like one of the greatest collisions we saw between 2010 and 2020 was Burgess running at Michael Ennis off the back fence. And Ennis actually smashed him. Like, that's what gets missed out of that. He got sent flying backwards. But he didn't, it was still tough. It was gladiator-like. They're trying to reduce that out of the game, obviously. So they need to just let the game. I like that rule change. What were some others as well?
Yeah, so the other one was having a look at the kickoff. So you got the interchanges, 6 obviously interchanges, and also the what was the 4th one we were talking about there? So the I had it here. Sorry. Yeah. So there was I lost it there. Okay. The team kickoff. The 17. What's the? Oh, you made me lose my train of thought. So you've got the kickoffs, the interchanges, the 20-meter one there, and then the last one was the 6 again for the penalty. So rather than just do it from outside of the 20, they get to do like the 6 agains, not just in the 40. So all the way. Potentially
to bring it back to what they originally went with, which 6 again anyway.
Potentially, yeah. So I think that's one of the other ones. You've got to sort of play around with that outside of the 40 one that they do with that one. So, but I'm not sure when they're actually meeting, because I know the CEOs had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lot of discussion about these changes. But I'm not sure when they're finalising, because whatever it is, teams would still need to start training that way for their trials, which will be coming around faster than you think. So. To lock in all these changes. So I think there's been enough time and review done now for them to sort of make a decision. But I'm not sure if all 4 of those changes will come in, but who knows? It may or may not be.
I really like the 6 again. It's not the. I really like the one that I talked about before the most.
Yeah.
See if Gus has said anything about it. There we go. He might. Rule changes. Word on the street suggests we have plenty of rule changes heading our way. Funny game rugby league. That's all he's basically said on it. Oh, and that's what you've got there, the 6 against award outside. So you've read that off, bloke.
So off after the 20 meter line. So if you still get smashed inside your 20, you'll still get the kick advantage from the kick for touch. But so they've just basically pulled it back 20 meters for that. So that's what they're talking about.
Okay. So between the 20 meter zones.
20.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not between the 20. Oh, well, 20 meter on your try line. It's still all the way to the goal line on the other side. So if you get a 6 again, you'll just keep going. So for the infringements that receive a 6 again anyway, anything else could still get a penalty anyway, anywhere on the field. Just depends on the infringement.
Okay. So 6 against awarded outside attacking teams 20 meter zone, not the 40 meter line. All right. Because I think what they need to do is also focus on teams like the Storm who deliberately give away a 6 again after tackle 1. So that if they feel like the tackle 2 is not going to do well, they'll give away a 6 again on tackle 1 so that they can reset themselves and then know where a team's going to play their shapes, because if they've conceded too much momentum off that first tackle, the next hit up is really going to decide whether a team's going to concede or not. And what a lot of these good sides do is they give away that first tackle. Sorry, they give away that 6 again so that they can be reset, and then they know where to send their defenders off that standing start. It's so much harder for that attacking team to generate that momentum after they've had that 6 again start again off a slow play the ball. So that's why they do it. And I think you'll continue to see rules change to try and negate that as well. That's sort of why they made the thing with the scrums, where everyone was offside on the scrums, and that if you were penalised offside for a repeated offence, I think you get 10 in the bin, because clubs have worked out how to sort of ensure they don't concede that way. So there you go. Night, Scary. Have a good night, mate.
See you next year.
See you next year, brother. Scotty had a blackout today. No electricity for an hour.
Where's Scotty at?
He's in Sydney, I think, aren't you, Scotty? Kids for Kids in. Oh, how you going? He's from India. Welcome to the show. Kids for Kids.
G'day.
You can get on. You can get penalised inside your 20. Yep. There you go. Welcome, Rhett. When did this live start? Just had the newborn by myself for the first time. She's just gone to sleep. Well, I'm good at that. I'll put her to sleep every week, mate. We started at,
23 minutes ago. 23 minutes ago.
There you go. 23 minutes ago we started. So you want to get the baby to sleep? I'll come up with a T-shirt for that as well. And look, we put Scary to sleep as well. So there you go. Showy says only reason why they're making these changes for the gambling dollars 100%. Oh, I think it's the gambling dollars is always a thing. It's not the only reason, but it's always prevalent, is what I will say. Did we miss anything out of the chat there?
No, all good. I think one of the main reasons is they're trying to stop those big swings of momentum if possible, which we've covered over quite a few times. But when a team's got that possession and they're running basically downhill, they can pile on a lot of points and take the game away from someone, as we did against Canberra, 32-0 once we got that possession, and we just kept going on that second half after being down 20-0. It happens to a lot of teams. once that possession starts, the game can be taken away. So I'm hoping they're trying to keep that little bit of evened out there, keep those contests a bit tighter. First ball problems in 2025, mate. We're still having these problems.
That's it. All right. What's next on the agenda?
You've got to start looking at your 17, mate. Is that the one you've got down the bottom of your page?
Let's get that up there. So we've got Connor Tracy, Carraz right wing, Cherry left centre, Crichton right centre, Montoya left wing, Burton on the left playing 5'8", Lachlan Galvin at half on the right. Maxi King holds his number 8 jumper, Bailey Hayward at 9, Leo Thompson 10, Viliami kick-out, Jacob Preston left and right edge, Jamin Salmon at lock, Kurt Mann, Satili Tupanua, Harry Hayes. I've got Mitchell Woods in there as a best 17, and Josh Curran, who'll play a lot of first grade this year, I have no doubt. Others would put Curran in there, maybe ahead of Woods, or maybe have Burton in the centres and all that. But look, Burton's a 5'8". Okay, he's a 5'8". He can play centre. Always been the case. We'll talk a little bit about the Galvin stuff and the Mitchell Woods. I find it alarming that pundits in the NRL media are misleading the Bulldogs fans and all fans, to be honest, to have Mitchell Woods pinned as the starting 7 for the Bulldogs in 2026. There, unless there's a couple of injuries and he's forced into that role, I can't see it happening. But if he plays a couple of trials, shows he's defensively can handle it, his fitness is right up there, and he's ready to go, they will bring him in. I'm sure if you ask Gus Gould if Mitchell Woods will be starting in 2026, his response would be something like Mitchell has plenty of time and will debut when Mitch tells us he's ready through his performances and through all the stuff all the boxes he ticks at training and all that sort of stuff. So I just find it alarming that people have watched the game of NRL for years, including a lot of Bulldogs fans that I've seen, have named him as the number 7 and Lachlan Galvin at 6. Burton's got to be the 6. We've got Bronson Cherry out there. People are like, oh, move Bronson out to the wing and get rid of Marcello and all this sort of stuff. You've got to understand how the team works, and that's not how it works. But if that's what we have to do to win a game of footy, if there's injuries or disruptions and that sort of stuff through suspensions or origin, that's what we'll do. We'll move those players out there. But if you've been watching what I've been watching, Serrato knows what he's doing, and he's only making those changes because he's trying to have the best 17 players on the field at once, so they're going to give us the best chance to win, with the occasional error along the way. So there you go.
Who would you add as your 19th if you did have the 6-man bench?
So if we had a 6-man bench, I'm probably adding Latu for now, Latu or Jake Turpin.
Yep.
Oh, g'day, Rhett. Thanks for joining, brother. Good to have you on board. Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Welcome, Rhett.
Scotty says that's a top 4 team. James says Woods is underdone in size and strength. Look, if it's him and Lachlan Galvin take their shirts off, I can tell you who looks more like a man, and that's Woods. And not that I'm into looking at blokes with their shirts off. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you can, one's, been on a program at the Bulldogs for a while, is building that muscle over a few years to become an NRL player as quickly as he can. And the other one is this gangly looking young footballer kid who just loves to play footy, struggles to put on weight. But I'm seeing signs with Galvin. I'm starting to see a few veins pop out where they weren't, and a little bit more, that's coding that he's got starting to turn from boy into man. I'm noticing the signs. We probably want it to continue to happen and happen quickly. So. Luke Keary was never a big half. He won premierships to the Souths and the Roosters. That's right. He was never big. Jonathan Thurston was too small, apparently, as well. And I refer to Thurston a lot. And as did D. He provided me a lot of these angles, and he pretty much wrote a really passionate story. And I went in there and just we worked a bit of magic on it and come up with that article about Galvin because look, I don't necessarily like going out there and disagreeing with Andrew Johns and Matthew Johns and Braithen Astor even. Like all these great players have played the game. They know what a 7 and a 6 is. Of course they do. But I think the simplicity and the talking points of rugby league have become quite almost by design to have people think that what they're hearing and seeing is some huge insight, but it's not. It really isn't. When you break it down, what does Lachlan Galvin do on a field? I don't, D asked these questions, and I said 100%. Like you can't say he's not a halfback by his actions on the actual field when you watch the game. Like they tried to make it about, he doesn't straighten the attack up enough. Okay, well, that's something that halfbacks continually have to work on, and also has a lot to do with who you've got around you as well, and the confidence of your team. And it's not just about the halfback just straightening up the attack. You've got to have everyone running the right lines and doing the right things. So, and there's the other factor as well. Do all these players follow the game plan from start to finish? And when do they actually go off script, and for how long? And is it one player who goes off script, or is it a few players collectively who go off script but go in the same direction, if that makes sense? Does the coach know that some players are going to go off script and the rest of the team doesn't know about it? When you're starting to talk about Trojan horses and things like that. There's so many things that come down to a game plan, and it's not always transparent for everybody, and it's not supposed to be. Thanks, James. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, I know. No, Adam Reynolds isn't that.
So to give you an example, so Adam Reynolds is about 173 centimetres tall.
Yep.
Someone like a Trent Hodgkinson, which you would say he was 178 centimetres tall, a bit taller. But then you've got Mitch Woods is identical to Jonathan Thurston, both at 179 centimetres. So he's not short. He's only, not far away from, 182, 183, which is 6 foot. But, he's not exactly Lachie Galvin, but he's still a tall boy. But he is very cut up. He is a very sort of very nuggety, solid player. It's just that getting himself exposed to a lot of that bigger boy contact is sort of where he's still untested as well. So obviously, people who want to throw him into the team, what's he proven so far other than what he's done at his own level? So, he still has to be proven in first grade team, and his chance will come. He'll get some opportunities.
Yep.
But at the moment, potentially for him, the six interchanges could be a blessing for him. It could give him an avenue into the team and be there as a backup. He might not be used for 3 or 4 games, but the moment something happens to one of the halves, bang, he's in. It could be a blessing for him. And that could happen for every team, having their fringe players that are sort of on again, off again. They could be getting an opportunity. I think, teams will have to start considering a potential player that can cover the back line as well. So, in that 6 for me, if I had to put someone in there, yes, I'd like a female Alatu, but I'd also like someone to cover, the back line. Like last year, we got caught out at the end of the season losing a few centres, and you couldn't replace that in a game. No, you don't ever carry a centre on the bench or someone like that. So having that kind of player potentially could be something that that you might have if you can only use 4 of them. But once you've used the first 4, well, the other 2, that's it. If it happens late in the game, well, then that's it. But if it happens early in the game, you've got that coverage. So if that rule does come in, that could be a good one. I think that's probably the smartest one. It does mean that 2 extra players don't play each week, etc., from their, New South Wales Cup or whatever. But so be it. It'll make the selections and all that sort of thinking around the game a lot smarter, which I think will be a better way to go.
Yeah, I think I think you're 100% on the money. And I actually look, guys, if you look at how a extended bench is actually selected, you'll find that they'll have they'll generally have one prop in there, maybe 2, or someone who can sort of play edge or front row. They'll have a half. They'll generally have, so this is usually like your 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd play of 5, the extended 5 players on the bench, right? Outside of the top 17. And they'll normally have an extra winger or centre. And I think that they will actually put one of those players on the bench, as Gas was saying. I think he's 100% right there. I think that will happen. When you've got players, though, like Stephen Crichton, who can go to fullback, and Karaz could move there, and Karaz can play wing or centre, and Burton can move into the centres and stuff like that, I think we've sort of got an advantage in that way, that when we've got our fit side on the field, if there is an injury, we can shuffle around pretty well. Coach at the start of last year, Crichton had been playing a bit of 6 in pre-season, ready for that sort of move. Proved not to be very good for us in defence, moving Preston out into the centres. So, although he used to be a centre without an issue. But I think there's enough cover there. So you might see players like Jonathan Sewer. Obviously, you got Chihuahua, you got someone like Cade Dykes, who could probably come in on the wing or play at 5'8", or play at fullback, or even the centres if he wanted to. He's big enough. So there's lots of options there, and I think it's only going to mean that you're going to see more players potentially making their debut. It'd be interesting for the debut, getting the families down and stuff, because if you're on that 6-man bench, but you're not listed, they'll probably know who the first 3 players they're going to put on are, but it'll make it hard, you know what I mean, to predict if the coach is sort of waiting to see what happens in a game to see who he puts on.
Players usually know now, like which of those 3 potentially, like now 3 or 4, even leading up when there's an extended bench. So if they've got word that they are going to be starting in that sort of initial 17, then yes, they probably will drag their families down. But if they say, look, I'm going to be on the extended, come down at your own peril, they might start doing that as well, and obviously grabbing as many tickets from their other teammates as they can and bringing the whole family down. So but it may have to be a first, second, third time before they get on the field. So, but Pete's got a good comment there. So he's saying that Turpin he feels will be in the 17, which is probably going to be at the moment pretty close. And Galvin has broken many records in the preseason, which anyone who's been watching all the bits and pieces we've been putting on there's been a lot of stuff that Galvin's been doing. A lot of it's come off the back as well. I mean, his fitness has always been there from an endurance perspective, but he's cleaned up his running style a lot, working with Roger pretty much after the season finished. He's been in training, and he's gained apparently about 10 seconds on his 60-meter sprint just from a technique change and
10 meters.
10 meters, sorry. Yeah, 10 meters as a pick up and run, which, if anyone knows when you're picking up the ball and you get half a chance to make a break, that extra 10 meters that you could gain in that first 60, that could be crucial. That could get you through the gap before you know it. And then if you're not gone, you can be looking back on the inside for Terry Lamb for support. So, and with Bailey also sort of having sort of a full season now, going to be the main man. No more sort of backup Reid Marnie for him. That they are going to be big boots to fill for Bailey. So, but those other players, Gordon and Turpin and all those others that are sort of around the money at the moment, they're going to be sort of keeping Bailey honest right now, and they will all feature during the season at some point, depending on what happens. But yeah, thanks for that, Pete.
Yeah, Pete, this is the best 17. I think that Turpin will start. So if I'm predicting, if he's fit, I think Turpin will be, in that 17 or 19 or whatever it is to start the season for a bit. I just can't bank on him being fit because he just hasn't been for 4 seasons. He's struggled to play rugby league. But if he can get it right, like, as I said, Jake Turpin beat some of the best young hookers in Australia to get the Broncos job. So much depth and talent in the juniors up here, so much competition, and they don't talk about it enough, the advantages that these kids have. Yeah, New South Wales win most of the state things, but to be honest, it goes back and forth, just like Origin. In regards to just follow on from your comments, I think Gordon Chan Kum Tong and Turpin will definitely play extended minutes at hooker for both New South Wales Cup and spend time on the bench. I think they'll rotate them as much as they can. I think we might see Sean O'Sullivan in that utility role a lot as well. Playing a bit of in the halves for a bit, but then giving the youngsters a bit more rein and having him sort of revert to a bench role, that sort of stuff. Bailey's obviously got big boots to fill. We know that, but look, Bailey Hayward is, as I've said many times, this club sees him as a one-club player. There's not too many players they nominate with that sort of confidence, and he's got the confidence of Bailey's won the respect of the big men in the team, and that's never easy. Like, if you listen to podcasts of ex-players and stuff like that, there is the forwards hold sway. They hold, there's only a few little blokes in the side that can actually, command their respect just through their toughness. And you hear stories about Jeff Tuvey and you hear about Mortimer and Lamb and those sort of players. Won the respect of Andrew Johns, obviously, with the way he defended. But Bailey Hayward's another one of these kids. And he looks like he's bulked up even more. And, people saying he's slow and all this sort of shit. Just completely out of line. And sort of no understanding of what it takes themselves before throwing that rubbish out to the wider world. Also, we've got a comment here about Cassius Tia. Look, the swagger of the kid, fantastic. Hardly seen an image of him anywhere. Has anyone seen much of Cassius in the preseason? So it's not giving me good vibes, just quietly. But yep, I think talent-wise, he's a type of player that could do anything. But if he's not there, there's either an injury or there's some sort of attitude issue, or he might, my attitude issue, it might not be a bad attitude, just might not be an agreement or something like that. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I just haven't seen anything of him, and that just makes me question, and rightfully so. What do we got? What else do we got here?
Yeah. So, Scotty's putting some comments on there that we are spoilt for depth, and that's that's something that we've been focused on to get ourselves up and up and about with that depth. We have been caught out in the past, but our best 17 was strong. But after that, we sort of used to fall away a little bit to the top 4 teams. But having that depth now and also building up, there's still a lot of players we haven't even mentioned. DCF is another option there. You lose someone to a head knock or something, early in the game, you need that next front rower to step up. So there's a lot of options for us, which are really good. And it could potentially, bring on one of these Underhills or Jack Todds to come back into the team, So that extended 6, if it does happen, could give us that option. Timmy, welcome, mate. How you going? A bit late to join us, mate, but you're on now. I'm not sure if you're working late as usual.
Hey, Timmy. Welcome, brother. I hope you had a Merry Christmas and set for a brand new, beautiful new year.
Kangaroo Killers saying Bailey will be our most improved. Mate, I don't disagree with you. I think he will be he'll be huge for us. I think behind the scenes, what he's doing now to get himself, there's no more sort of, backup. What he was doing last year was going to be happening during the season. Sort of Raid's going to start, then you're going to come in and play 20 minutes, etc. Now he's the main man. So, he can dictate that, how well he goes. So he knows that if he wants to be out there for more minutes, it's very demanding to be a dummy half. Anyone who's ever played sort of the game knows that they're very, very, very fit, those dummy halves. They've got to constantly be ready, tailing in behind the play, getting ready to pick up the ball. And then the defense, they're usually our top defender in the game as well. So there's a lot of work to be done there. But to do all that and not to have that fatigue later in the game, that's going to be crucial. So the best players know when to come in and out of the game. Like Cameron Smith was one of the best. Always knew sort of when to sort of back off a bit, let the backs run some dummy half runs and etc. And then pick his moments. But then always late in the game, he was still fresh and ready to throw that that pass for the winning try, etc. So Scotty's saying that the Doggies 12 plus against the Dragons in Vegas. So there was a question earlier asking how we're going to go in Vegas. And Fino, when Michael asked the question to Gus, who was going to be your player to watch, he was your man. So he was your man. So Gus he's named him as he's done in the past. He's a talent, and anyone who's seen him at training, and even we saw him at the signing day, he does look a beast of a player. So he is definitely one that got away from the Dragons. That wasn't one that they sort of were anticipating losing. But he was injured at the time, so they couldn't play him. But we're hopefully going to benefit from that one. Michael Gamer talking about scoring, about the scorer kicking off. Majority of the time after a team scores, its main goal is to get to the kick. A kickoff goes deeper most times, advantage scoring team. So if it just depends, if you choose now and you want to say I want to receive or I want to kick, it just depends on the situation in the game, whether you're trying to chase that ball to get it back from the short kickoff or etc. Or you're happy for it to go down deep down the other side. Timmy's tipping the Bulldogs to beat the Dragons 26-12, with Preston being your man.
I'm back.
Yeah, welcome back, mate. And Killer saying that he's saying that Gus is saying that Tia's still with the club. So, but sometimes, as Michael's alluded to in the past, sometimes Gus will say what's currently happening, and if there is potentially, let's say, any discussion in the background where his manager's working an angle to get him somewhere else, and there's timing issues or whatever it might be, then obviously he's at the club until he's not at the club. So, the boys are exchanging a few comments to each other there as well about Christmas. That's nice. Timmy's been watching the Thunder tonight. How they going, mate? They got off to an early, good start. So thank God for the ridiculous rule of a 7-tackle set. If you drop the ball over the line, is gone. Well, it's not gone yet. It's one of the rules that they're talking about. But usually when they release these rules, they're pretty close to they'll probably just look at the consensus. They'll check with all the teams properly. Obviously, they've already been consulting with them. And then if there is some major sort of, backlash to anything that's there, they'll obviously have that in consideration. But at the moment, it's basically like, here's what we're thinking about doing. We're pretty much ready to sign it off. What's your thoughts? And then if everything seems okay, they'll roll it out in good time. You want to go through Pete's there, mate?
Yeah. Look, I've heard his development as well, and he's with the club, no doubt. Just haven't seen him at training, so they could be one that they're keeping quiet, and we'll just have to wait and see how it all pans out.
Could be an injury, maybe.
That's it. Have we heard any good info? Haven't heard much lately, mate. Just can only really report what's been said to Gus and what Gus has said. He said that, people asked if Leo out for 6 months or something with a calf injury, which was what was going around the kennel. But he said he doesn't know where people get their information from. Maybe it's just 5 months and 3 weeks. But, technically Gus would be right still. But no, I haven't seen too much lately of Leo training or anything. So maybe he's got a little bit of an issue there, but that's all right. These things happen. They happen to everyone. We've got him for a number of years, and people will want to make out like his signing will, if, we do well, it's because he came along. If we don't do well, it's because he's not playing well enough. Shit like that. The media will do their thing. We've just got to do our thing, and that's support the boys, support the team, and know that everything they do, they'll be trying to do better, even better the next time they go out there. That'll be the intention, and that's what we'll continue to support week in, week out. And a player like Leo Thompson, I expect we'll see effort and intent, and that's all I'll ask for as far as quickly becoming the type of player we love. It happens quickly for some players. For others, it can take a little bit of time, but I think he'll be one which will be quicker rather than later, if that makes sense. Atlas Astro, Merry Christmas. And all the best to you as well. Michael saying Cassius has a talent but needs rocks or diamonds, needs to get his head right. Yeah, potentially. If you've heard a bit about him, Michael, let us know. Kangaroo, Josh Curran might be off to the Bears for 2027. Well, look, I wrote an article about this. We talked about it on this podcast before anyone else. It just going through the numbers, it makes sense. If you're judging on personality, what he does off the field, his effort on the field, all that sort of stuff, you're not getting rid of him. But we've talked about it a lot. Like the role that he covers within the squad, they can probably employ for a little bit less, and he can probably get a little bit more money as well. And that's the other thing. This club doesn't just stand in the way of people making their best life for themselves either. And when people say, oh, Gus kicked this player out, or Gus let them go, or Gus kept them, a lot of the times it's got nothing to do with what Gus wanted. It's got to do with what the player wanted or their manager suggested that they needed. And Gus and that are just going to, if the player wants to be a Bulldog, that's the first thing. And then it's all about, do they fit into our culture right now? Are they going to fit in the future? Are we making a considered choice on someone else instead of them. Then we make that decision. We're about to go with it. Then the person we're going to go with gets a 12-month injury, or they're talking to someone else, and then you go with the person that you weren't going to keep. You're now going to keep them because you need to. Like, all this sort of stuff happens. It just goes on and on and on and on. It'd be hard to even, the plan would change a lot between point A to point B. I can tell you that much.
So Timmy gives an update on the cricket, saying that the Thunder need 203 from 20 overs. The Scorchers scored very well in the power surge, with Ashton Turner making 99, I think, off about 42 balls with 8 fours and 8 sixes. So thanks for the update, Timmy.
Mr. Damage. There you go.
Let's hope so.
And Tomo Mr. Damage too. Here. Timmy says, after listening to Kerry about Galvin and his position in the halves, and after reading your article on Galvin and if he can be in the halfback we need, I love what you said about Thurston. Well, Timmy, it's actually the Luke Keary podcast. Gas and I had a chat about that last night, and he mentioned the same thing. And we also had articles of people written. Look, Luke Keary also said in another podcast that if he had his pick of all the youngsters coming through under 20 years and under, who would he pick? And he said Galvin by far. He said, I'd pick Lachlan Galvin. The way that he just went into that West Tigers side and was basically their best player. Wasn't because West was so shit. People will just say that. They still had quality in their roster and quality people around their club doing quality things. Like, it's not. Sometimes the difference between a basket case and a great side is 5% across the board. It doesn't seem like much, but you get people just doing that little bit extra from the person right at the top all the way to the volunteers that you motivate to help. It all makes a massive difference to your club. And another thing, fan bases make a big difference too. Supportive fan bases do a lot better than overly critical ones. I can tell you that much. But yeah, Luke Keary's made some really good points about Galvin. At the end of the day, was Luke Keary a 6 or a 7? Tell me. What was he, Gas?
Exactly. He was both. You know what I mean? He played a lot of both, but he played more at 6 as well. But definitely mixed himself around. So depending on what he was trying to do out there. But it's exactly like your Thurston comment. If anyone's read the article, have a good look at that. Thurston was still playing, 7 club football, but as soon as he stepped into rep football, they drop him in the 6 because you've had Cooper Cronk and whoever else playing there with him. And there was never ever any change or any difference. He knew his role. He did what he had to do. So it's, yeah.
Look, guys, this is the article here on all things Bulldogs. Can you read that on there, Gas? Or
that's a bit small there, mate.
Let's make it bigger. Look, what we're trying to do is just basically suggest that there's an obsession in the media with forcing young players into this rigid positional box. And it's become a lazy habit amongst commentators and discussion pieces, I believe. People think they sound really smart and intelligent when they go, he's a 6, though. He's not a 7. He's a 6. Well, Matt Burton's still our number one playmaker in our team, regardless. So, and we all know that Burton is a 6. And the reason we can say that is because Burton doesn't naturally go well playing both sides of the field. The thing with Burton, though, is that he probably gets more touches than he would actually. If he was playing at Penrith, for example, he would touch the ball less but they'd have, if he went there right now, he wouldn't be playing centre. He'd play 6. They would develop Blaze Talangi for a bit longer. Although Blaze will develop rather quickly now that he's got that role and he's had it for 12 months and made a final series and all that, barring injury. And it sounds insightful all the time, all of this stuff, but people have to realise you're being dumbed down. Like, it's by design. I know for a fact that even someone like Cooper Cronk, who does go fairly in depth, got told to sort of simplify it a bit. He was making too much sense in a too technical way. I think education is great for people. I really do. You don't have to know everything. You can still enjoy the game. I still love every game. I enjoy the game more. The more that I've been taught through coaches and through watching and speaking to people who actually know, the more I enjoy the game myself. So, look, and they say because Galvin's a runner of the ball, he must be a 6. They say if he's big and he's got size, he's going to grow into a lock. Like, he might still become a 6 or he might become a lock. But that doesn't mean he's not doing the role of a halfback. The way they've judged Galvin, I think, is ridiculous. To me, he looked way more like a halfback than Toby Sexton. Toby's probably shaped more like a halfback and acts more like a halfback. But when the game was on the line, where was Toby throwing the football? When the game was on the line anywhere, where was Toby? Now go back and look at games. Even when we lost games, Galvin was still trying to do stuff. Even if he fucked things up, right? He was still saying, I'm the 7, give me the football. And there's a big difference. He touched the ball 65, 70 times every game. And if Burton isn't the kicker in our team, Galvin would touch it even more. He played right edge, but he moved to the left. He keeps throwing shots at the opposition. He was getting repeat sets. He's backing up through his support play. His support play is really, really strong. He attracts defenders. He runs short sides like a Mitchell Moses. Not as good. He's not as good as Mitch, no. But he's doing all the stuff that these players do, right? And there was, for a while there, they were saying Mitchell Moses was a 6. And then there's Thurston. He left Canterbury not because we signed Brad Sherwin. We still made Thurston an offer. We only had to offer him 30 grand more. And he probably would have been like, can I stay? But they basically told him to go. And they thought Braithen Astor was going to stay for a long time. No, they signed Shifty for a 5-year extension. Jonathan Thurston, the very next year, goes and plays at number 7 outside Travis Norton, and they make the grand final against Wests. So, and then he just played 6 or 7, depending on what the need was for the team. It didn't matter. There was discussions about, is he a better 6 or a better 7? Like, I don't expect those discussions to disappear. But right now, is Galvin the best 7 in our club right now? He probably bloody is, as far as potential and talent goes. So this is why we've got to forget what these bozos are saying. I don't care if they've paid 1 million games. Andrew Johns is one of the best players I've ever seen, defensively and things that he did, and his eye for whatever he's doing is fantastic. But as they say, some people can do, but they can't teach, and some people can't do, but they can teach. And I don't know, maybe what comes naturally for some people isn't as well articulated to those when they need to explain what they're doing. Some things Andrew Johns says is 100% fucking accurate, I love Joey. Like, I'm not trying to be like, he's forgotten in the last 2 minutes more than I'll ever know. But on this situation here, I think it's ridiculous that we continue these narratives that, Galvin can't play 7 because he's a 6. Well, he looked like he played 7 all right to me for someone who hadn't done it before. And, and looking at it now when Gus is sitting there saying, when Gus is sitting there saying that this kid is one of the greatest teenagers he's ever seen, we just got to look at how the kid competes. And even when he got steamrolled a couple of times, he was still trying to put his shoulder, and it was still there for the contact. He knows what he's got to do. How many times did Sexton back up and score length of the field tries? Well, I barely saw it. Galvin was there a few times. And when he got the ball in space, no one caught him, did they? So there you go. Any thoughts on that, mate? Any thoughts?
No, mate, it's all pretty good. So it's a good read there on dogfathermedia.com.au, guys. Definitely, when you look at it overall, the way that he plays, I mean, you even saw it in that second half against Penrith. I mean, even in the first half when he set that try up, and then backed it up. So, like, definitely for me, when you look at Galvin, the way he's been playing, and you have to remember he came in the middle of the year. We were going through some changes. We basically had already resigned ourselves to not re-signing Sexton. Otherwise, we wouldn't have waited, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, whatever it was before someone else grabbed him, albeit overseas. And then we went down that road. So he's now got to have a full off season. We can see the work he's been doing, the fitness level he's got. The team structure now is going to be built around him. The reps that they'll be doing now in the off season are going to be instrumental into what happens coming through. And I also think another sort of benefit for him is going to be someone like an Adam O'Brien, who's going to come with a bit more of a attacking sort of flair potentially, having a different mindset to a very defensive Seraldo, and something different. I mean, look, he had the coaching of Jason Taylor as well, who was a great halfback in his time, but the game's evolved a lot since then. And I think everything, the support network that the Bulldogs have got now, will help someone like a Lachlan Galvin become the player that we're looking for. So we know he can, we know he's got a motor that can go all game, which helps your decision making at the end of the game, which is crucial. Mm-hmm. It's now going to be a matter of the execution and the players around him. Now that they know his capabilities, and they're going to see it a lot more in the off season, they'll be ready for what he's going to come with, and be ready to deliver with them together. So it's and you have to remember when you talk about Burton, whether he's a 6 or not, why would you consistently be picked as the top 18, 19 in Origin if you're not the best 6 or second best 6 or whatever in the NRL, for New South Wales? So he's not being picked just because he can play. He's a great player in his own right, and he's for me, very unlucky not to be playing even 6 in Origin. He would have probably cemented that role if he was there. So yeah, he's definitely our best player, and he's definitely one of the best in the state as well. So it's not to be missed.
I just want to address James's comment. It's not fair. Please don't compare Galvin, Burton to Thurston. No one's comparing them as players. What people are comparing is the fact that they say Galvin's not a 7. When Thurston left the Bulldogs, he left because he was a 6 that they didn't think was going to get to play heaps of NRL at number 6. He went to the Cowboys and played as a 7. He played 7 or 6. I watched Thurston was my, there was 2 kid players that I loved coming through, sort of as the ones blooming out, and they were obviously Sonny Bill and Jonathan Thurston. And Thurston, watching him play at Toowoomba, watching him play a game for New South Wales against Queensland, funnily enough, as a junior. And then seeing him in our system and wanting him to progress. Ben Barber was another one. It was obvious to me this kid had a lot of talent. It was obvious to a lot of people. And the Dogs knew he had a lot of talent as well. And they probably didn't realise how much. And they'll never get over it. Fans will never get over it. But Gus isn't saying Galvin is one of the best teenagers he's seen because he just wanted to sign him. It's because he believes that. They don't always evolve into Brad Fittler or Laurie Daly or fucking, Jonathan Thurston. But Mitchell Woods is another one he's highly rated as a teenager, and we've got those two kids in our arsenal who are developing and ready to lead the Bulldogs into the future. And it's exciting. It's something that should be really appreciated. Our club has got the quality of these two kids, both Australian schoolboys. Logan Spence, another Australian schoolboy. Finau Latu, another one. And more and more and more, right? These kids, and we've now also got that young fullback as well, Bryanton. So they're getting some of quality kids to bring in with our local junior players. And, just be excited about it. We're not comparing, if Galvin ends up being half as good as Thurston, we've done well, right? The article isn't comparing them as players. It's more so comparing the scenario that the media talks about players pigeonholing players into one position, when if you actually watch the stuff they do on the field, you can see they're actually playing both of those positions quite well. And if the Bulldogs forward pack doesn't do its job, it doesn't matter if we have Nathan Cleary as our 7. It won't change a thing. So, but anyway, just my thoughts. Give us some chat stuff, Gas.
So Timmy was saying, sorry, he ran out of words to explain further, but he agrees that Galvin will be wearing the 7 and that he's going to continue to develop in that role as he's still young. And it's a blessing that we've obviously got someone like O'Sullivan as well. Kangaroo Killer this year will be interesting. I think it'll be a good competition for the halves. Well, healthy competition amongst your team, amongst your own teammates is amazing for a team. That gets you the best results, so you don't sort of take it for granted. So hit that like button, Doggy. So thank you, Scotty. So Scotty's just giving everyone the pep to hit that like button and subscribe as well, guys. No one sees a lot of the work that Michael does behind the scenes to keep putting all this content together, all of these platforms, everything sort of, it's not free, but it's a lot of love that Michael does it for. But anything you can help him to subscribe and like as well is more than appreciated, guys. So it's very easy to do, as we saw earlier with one of our new joiners. So have a look and jump on there. Gavin Burton will be in their halves to start the season. Looking forward to Galvin Presto. I think what you're going to see with Galvin Presto is Lions Menzies. Anyone who remembers Lions Menzies, it's going to be your Galvin Presto, guys. So be ready. It says something about that if Presto was our leading try scorer, guys, in 2025. So, and he missed a few games with a suspension too, if you remember. So
you got most of those at the end of the season.
There you go, exactly. And he obviously scored some in the semi-finals, which don't even count. So yeah. Galvin has plenty of time to become one of the best halfbacks or 5'8". He's only young. Yep, I agree, Heinze. He's only 20, correct.
Galvin, you're welcome.
Ross is saying that Galvin could play Saturday sooner than later. Steve Mortimer didn't want JT to leave, so that's a big sentiment across a lot of people. And you got your mate Timmy there just thanking the team here for all their time and effort. So no worries, Timmy. We're always here for us Doggies fans. Well, thanks for your support as well.
Yeah, and like Ciro share their podcast, guys. Share all the stuff. It all helps.
And Ciro in the NRL at the moment does have the longest contract than any of the other NRL coaches in the NRL. So he's well into the early 30s. No one else, obviously, with his 5-year upgrade this year, no one else has got that. So that's the confidence that everyone's got out of the professionalism that Ciro's brought to the team, and everything that he does for the team. I mean, it's clear to see for everyone. He knew that he got himself in. He took a hit in 2023, building his system that he believed in. As much as the results didn't go our way that year, you saw it once it started kicking in the middle of 2024. We got on a bit of a run, and then last year, obviously, so he's building for long-term success, and he's there for the long term. So what they're doing now with the team, we all have to be patient with. As much as everyone thought last year or this year, 2025, was going to be a year, that they would have been upset that they had a lot of injuries and things went against them towards the end of the year. So that sort of killed our momentum. But I think you'll see that he's building a dynasty, and that's what's going to be coming. So score update from Timmy as well, 15 overs, so 163. I'm hoping no wickets lost. And a shout out to Big Willie Mason starting his acting career on Stan's Sunday night. So, Mick, you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, I will. Just give me a second. So, look, guys, he started Sunday nights on Stan. It's there for you to watch now. I've only watched a bit of, like, the first episode and stuff. He does a great job. Like, obviously, it's not it's typical Australian type of acting. It's not always the best, but it goes good. Yeah, so look, he's not the first rugby league player. We all know Matt Nable, who does the Fox Sports commentary. He was in Mr. In Between, plays a really good part in that. He's been in the 12 and a whole bunch of other shows. And Ian Roberts was in Mr. In Between. He's been in a few different movies as well. Ian Roberts is the first man to come out gay in the NRL, one of the toughest players of all time. And there's someone actually writing a movie about him at the moment, which I forget what it's called again, but I'll do a big promotion of that again at some point, and you can donate to that. It's going to be a really good documentary. Yeah, but look, he's with Will Ford, who's a Hollywood actor, Darcy Carden. They're a couple of American siblings who relocate to Sydney, and they launch a spray tan business only to find themselves tangled up in the Sydney's criminal underworld. So yeah, maybe a bit of underbelly in a fictitious way. He never thought it would work out, but he's done pretty well. It's quite believable. It's hard because it's Willie Mason to sort of tie yourself in and get into his character. But if you strip that away, if I was just watching this as a no-name, I'd be like, this guy's doing a pretty good job. He plays Terry Torres, a former rugby player. Now he's a mob standover man. So, and he's got quite a few lines and does quite a few things from what I've seen so far. So get out there and watch it. He's quite funny as well, Willie. And we all know Willie's pretty funny as it is. So it's quite believable, guys. Get out there and watch it. Let us know what you think. And yeah. They're not paying me to promote it. D watched it and gave me his understanding of it all. And I went and had a watch as well. And we've done a little article, and I'm going to release that on Dogfather Media. I've put it out to Zero Tackle as well. I'm not sure if they will do that one, but we'll see. What are we up to?
Timmy's also saying that Jason Stevens, also Matty Johns and Vossi in Footy Legends.
Oh, yeah, you can't forget those guys in Footy Legends, can you, with Arndo?
Yep.
There's this security guard who was working at the Winter Garden parking area. And I'm like, I know you. And he just come over to me. He goes, I might look like him and I might sound like him, but I'm not Arndo. So, Vietnamese guy with a full Australian accent. But I was like, I think it's Arndo working as a security guard in Brisbane. There is a doppelganger of him. 100% looks identical. Anyway, Matt Nable was in DC's Arrow TV series as Raz Al Ghul. There you go. So he's had some really big roles, but none bigger than Mr. In Between, one of the best ever TV series ever to be broadcast in this country. And everyone's hoping that it's extended, like starts again. Hey, James, I'm curious to see Willie, but Stan original Australian series is a red flag disclaimer for me. Well, there you go. Yeah, I get that, but look, get out there, support Willie Mason. Still a Bulldog in his heart. I can tell you that much. Oh, did he? Thanks, Timmy, for all your additions.
Thanks, Timmy.
Oh, getting tired, guys. What else are we talking about tonight? I've forgotten.
What do you got there, mate?
Look, guys, just for some other reading, I've been doing the top 5 players that need to improve for every side. We're up to Parramatta Eels. That might have been released today, actually. Let me have a look. The Warriors one I did got 35,000 views. Yep, the 5 Parramatta Eels players that must improve in 2026. It was released at lunchtime today. It's already had 15,000 views, which is pretty big. I was actually really happy with what I did with that. Unsurprisingly, I've put Jonah Pezze as the number 1 player to improve for Parramatta and put quite a lot of time into that part of the article. And someone said I'm not wrong, has given a nice comment on the article. But, I put Jonah Pezze, Jermaine Hopgood, who hasn't been the same since Liam Martin broke his back in State of Origin. Ryan Madison, who's on big money at the Eels. I thought he was going to leave. He's playing there next year. Like, if he does something, they could. Bailey Simonson, now staying with the Eels. No Zach Lomax. If he can stay on the park, really good player. I think Timmy pointed out was a former Bulldogs junior. And I put Riley Smith, the Reed Marnie doppelganger. But look, I know it's not Bulldogs, but if you're into rugby league, you want to look at that sort of stuff, get in there and write a comment on it. I've done all the teams in alphabetical order using their, like, Bulldogs, Raiders, Sharks, all these sides. So Penrith will be the next team I do, and I'll keep going till I finish with the West Tigers.
The draw has been released, Timmy. So if you go on there, you'll find the draw.
I'll get that up
for 2026. So obviously we play the Dragons in round 1. So that'll be actually at Belmore Sports Ground. Saturday the 7th of March. So that'll give us something to watch the week after we come back from Vegas. Go and see. Then we got the bye in round 2. We got obviously the Raiders, GIO, then back at Belmore against the Knights.
All right, so round 1.
Yep.
Saturday, 7th of March. So that's the week after Vegas, isn't it? Is what
So
you
that's
said.
round one. So Vegas is round 0. That'll be round 1 for NRL, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got a bye. And then we have a Thursday night against the Raiders in Canberra.
Yeah.
Is
So
that,
that'll be
are we playing? Is that before the main game?
before the main game. Yeah, that's correct.
Wonderful. So everyone, if you can, get to GIO Stadium early. Get loud, get rowdy, get behind the New South Wales Cup side.
So then we've got the Knights after that at Belmore on Saturday at 12 o'clock. Then the Rabbitohs will be on at Acor on Good Friday. So that'll be in the match before we play the Rabbitohs on Good Friday there. So that's a Rabbitohs home game. Then the Panthers, Acor as well. So before we play the Panthers on that Thursday night as well.
It's good that we're seeing a lot of double ups.
Yep. Against the Eels, round 7 will be also at Combank on the Sunday, the 19th of April.
Is that before the Eels match, or is that a standalone?
Round 7 could be before the match, actually. I think that might be a
I'll have to
game.
get it, but I'll get both draws up.
Yeah, I think that one might be against the Combank will be the one before we play the Eels, because we play them first before we play the King's birthday later on.
Yeah, it certainly is. Round 8.
Against the Knight, against the Jets. The Newtown Jets, yeah.
Will that be before a Sharks game? No.
Henson Park, yeah. No, that'll be at Henson Park.
We play the Broncos in Brisbane at Suncorp on Friday, the 24th of April. So
yes, so that'll be on Anzac Day.
Well, if that's on a Friday night, if there's any players that are in our extended squad that have to come for the trip to Brisbane on the Friday, they will obviously, if they don't get a run, will be available to play on the Saturday because they'll get home. They'll come home straight away. Friday night, they'll be home Friday night.
And the following week, we'll be playing the Bears on Friday night at Acor Stadium as well, on Friday the 1st of May.
And that's before we play the Cowboys.
Correct. So it's another good one. So if you're there, obviously early for that Friday night, you'll get to see 2 matches. And round 10 against the Roosters at Belmore Sports Ground. So that won't be a double up on Saturday the 9th of May. But I think we're back in Brisbane that week as well.
Yeah, play the Dolphins on the Thursday night. So we'll get home, and players that don't play that are on that extended bench will get a chance to play on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And
round 11.
Yep. You go.
Yeah, sorry. Round 11 will be a bye. And then round 12, we play the Storm, who've now entered the New South Wales Cup for the first time. So we play the Storm at Belmore Sports Ground again on Saturday, the 23rd of May.
But play the Storm on Friday at 8 p.m. So, again, players will be able to back up if they're not selected, which works out well.
Yep. Then we've got the Magpies at Lidcombe Oval on Saturday, the 30th of May.
What time's that? 2 p.m. And then at
2 p.m. Then at
Combank at 5:30, we play West Tigers on the same day.
Yep. And then Combank Stadium Acor the following week on the King's birthday. So we'll be playing before the clash with the Eels on that day.
Really?
Round 15.
Oh, yep.
Yep. Round 15 will be another bye. Round 16, we're actually the New South Wales Cup team will be the only team travelling to New Zealand this year from the top 2 teams, as the first grade team doesn't go. So they'll be off to Christchurch to play on the 21st of June against the Warriors over there.
NRL will be playing Seagulls on the Saturday.
Yep. And then the following week, the 28th of June, we do play the Sea Eagles at 3 p.m. at Scully Park in Tamworth on that Sunday, the 28th of June. There's another bye
That
in
magic
round.
round. No, that's not magic round. No.
No, magic round passed a few weeks back. Yep. The bye in round 18, and then round 19 we play the Raiders back at Belmore this time on Saturday the 11th of July.
I think it's magic round for the New South Wales Cup that week at Scully Park, Tamworth. All teams except for Raiders and Warriors are playing there.
Yep. So that's the magic round that they're having for the first time, I think, out there. So
they usually have it at play at One Bush Place, then it's a bye in round 18. Then the Raiders at Belmore.
What's the Dogs doing on the 11th of July that weekend?
We're playing the Raiders at Accor Saturday.
So this will also be Saturday, but at 1 p.m. at Belmore.
So the Cup players be making their way to Accor Stadium after that game?
Correct. Correct. Then we play the Magpies at Belmore again on the 18th of July, the Saturday after. And then we got another game at Belmore the week after that against the Warriors. So 3 Saturdays in a row, guys. We'll be playing at Belmore close to the end of the season. So that's going to be some good times out there. If any of you who haven't had a chance to go out to Belmore and see what's going on, go and have a look there. It's a great suburban ground that we've played at for many, many years.
And then 31st of July, there'll be a double header at Amy Park for New South Wales Cup and for our NRL squad.
Correct. For any of those travelling to Amy Park, get there early on the Friday. You'll get a double header. Round 23, Magic 23, 9th of August, we play the Roosters at Wentworth Park in Sydney. That's on the Sunday afternoon, 2:45. Then we've got the 14th of August, round 24. We play the Rabbitohs, which is our home game, which will be a double header at Accor Stadium. So that'll be a 5:30 game before the NRL team play later that night as well against the Rabbitohs. So that's Friday the 14th of August. So then we play against the Dragons in round what round
25.
is that? 25. That'll be at the Collegian Sporting Complex in Wollongong. Round 26, we play the Panthers at Parker Street Reserve in Penrith. So there's still quite a few games there. Whoever's been adding up, there's quite a few games of double headers, which we'll have. Many. There's quite a few Belmore games, which is good as well. So, and I know they've already started the work on this centre there, so that'll be affected. So there might be one side of the field potentially not accessible. Maybe the side of the field where the Terryland Family Hill is, that might not be accessible. So it might be everything on the grandstand and maybe on the back of the field from the opposite side to the railway side. So, but I don't think they'll be filling out those. But at least on some of those games where we're away, etc., you'll still be able to get your fix and go and see those great depth players that we've got perform. So you can see who's going to be coming through. So there's your draw, Timmy.
There you go. Lots of double headers. All righty. What else we got?
Okay, so Scotty's talking about he gets a better return on the NRL than he does at the bank, but he does mention to gamble responsibly if that's what you'd like to do. Timmy's asking him to shout some beers if he does have some good success, or a cask of goon. So Michael, Michael Gamers thought the role of a halfback is a team is dependent. Ciro was at odds to say the Bulldogs play their half in a non-traditional style, which is how the whole team plays. Yep.
Can I elaborate on that?
Yes, please.
Michael, really good comment. And it's something I've talked about for a very, very long time. We've done it quite often under different coaches and made it work, where our locks are creating space for the halves. Whereas if you go and watch that Australian side, Nathan Cleary was the one creating the space for the other, for Munster and stuff quite often. And he's quite willing to take it in the back and pop up all sides of the field and get plenty of touches. So we'll use our ball playing locks as halves, who basically everyone knows when we're getting into a block formation, which we play usually off the once or twice per 6. If Marnie's not at dummy half, he'll take the role of, he'll run it to the line, engage the defence, pass out the back to the next player. He'll make a choice whether they play short or whether they go longer and go again. Then it's either the half making the decision or the fullback. It doesn't really fucking matter. They know what the jobs are to be done, and sometimes if they're there, if they're in the position on the field which is best suited for that, they're not just gonna say, "Oh, don't give me the ball; it's not on," because I'm in the wrong position. Someone else will make it work. I've seen that happen many times. So look, we play quite a different. I call it like our halves play more roles, and our locks are sort of play as hybrid halves as well. Like, look, Isaiah Yeo does that for the Panthers as well. It's understanding your role within the team and where the entire team knowing how they want to play the game and where they want to play it and the position on the field they want to be in, where they want to hand the ball over, and they just get it done. And look, Perth Bears signing Toby Sexton will get a player who'll know how to play in numerous types of game plans. But if he's given a direction just to run this team from start to finish, it could take him a while, if you know what I mean. And they'll want to ensure they've got a pretty good engine room there to make that happen for him and have people that are able to give him a break and take over. Like, what it comes down to for halfbacks, and let's get this 100% out there if you don't already know. The reason Andrew Johns is considered the greatest halfback is because he was the greatest defender. If he didn't tackle the way he tackled, he's not getting his reputation on what he did with the football in the same way. That's why he's the 8th immortal, because he tackled the biggest men on the field one-on-one and put them on their ass to the point where they didn't really want to run at him. And that's a fact. And the best 7s are the best defenders. So what Toby Sexton's got going for him is that he's been able to learn how to defend quite well on an edge and do his job. But the point of the difference is that Andrew Johns at the 80th minute mark, after doing that defensive work, was still making the right choices and the right decisions with a minute to go when the game was on the line. Nathan Cleary, same sort of thing. They're still there. They're still at them. They're still going hard with a minute to go after absorbing all the defensive work they do. And Nathan Cleary is a wonderful defender. Yeah, he's been caught out and missed a few tackles. We saw him miss a couple in the 23 grand final, for example. He missed quite a few last year when they were struggling. But the greatest halfbacks, it's their defence. Steve Mortimer, the way the game was played, his cover defence was second to none. That's why he was great. Sterlo was a great defender around the legs, another one. But the players that don't defend the halfbacks that can't tackle to save their life don't make it in the NRL, because not only can they not tackle, when they get tired, they make mistakes and they don't get things right. And they go missing. They go catching their breath. Mitchell Moses, after seasoning for so many years, does his defence really well. Can make good decisions at the back end of the game. That's why he's considered one of the best halves in the game. It's all about what these players can do in the back half. Experience also takes you a long way, because you learn how to manage your game well. You know how to call defenders in. If you're getting peppered and getting smashed, your 13 or your edge back row on the other side's going to let a player know, if they keep running at you as the halfback, that they're going to get absolutely fucking hammered. If they keep targeting me, they're going to get hammered themselves. Sort of, Tony Carroll was renowned for it. People didn't want to end up going near Darren Lockyer because they were getting hammered by Tony, with and without the ball. Tony Carroll, I don't know, it didn't sound like there was too much going on upstairs, but one of the best defenders I've ever seen play the game of rugby league. So that's just my spin on that. It's about what they can do in defence. So when people want to talk about Mitchell Woods, I'll start talking about Mitchell Woods when I see him tackle Halimi Olakau'atu or Brendan Piakura or. But the good thing is he's got Viliami Kikau running at him. He's going to have Finau and Spinks and Preston running at him. So he's going to get some pretty good groundwork in how to do that. And that same goes for Galvin as well. They're not just spring chickens going out for a run. They test each other. One of the hardest things about rugby league, professional rugby league, is you're playing almost game intensity matches throughout the week in preparation. So, it's a big deal. How are we going there, Gas?
Yeah, all good, mate. Thunder is imploding, losing cheap wickets. That's all right. And Scotty's saying that Isaiah Yeo is the best ball-playing lock in the competition, I think by a country mile at the moment. So that's what's helped the Panthers be who they are. And also, obviously, New South Wales and Australia is a champion player. But he hasn't always been. He wasn't always there as a lock doing what he did.
The good thing about Yeo, Madge Maguire didn't use Yeo as a ball-playing lock in that series they won last year. He actually played more like a prop, and they had the halves playing more traditionally. And this year, Laurie tried to emulate that as well, but it didn't seem to work. And I think Reece Robson sort of ran the football more than he had been, and that changed things, changed the dynamic a little bit as well. There's just a few things where I think they didn't look at the mechanics of it and instead sort of just went on name and reputation and what they thought was going to happen. And it doesn't work out like that when the play to ball speeds are different and the games are refereed the way they're reffed in Origin. But anyway, when Gus talked of Galvin as being the best teenager he'd ever seen, I believe he's talking about his mental toughness and maturity to come in at West and take over as phenomenal 18. What's your thoughts, Gus?
I couldn't agree more. It's a great comment, mate. They might even need to like that one. Give it a star.
I'll give some stars for these people.
Yeah,
Ben Munro.
I think even when Gus made that comment, I don't think even in his wildest dreams he would have been thinking he was going to get Lachlan Galvin anytime soon. He's not reckless enough to say something like that with that intention. He would have been just commentating and having his TV hat on, not his Bulldog hat on, when he said that. And he said other things about other players over the many years as well. It's not the first time he said that. So, yeah, I 100% agree. Like, he would have been commenting about what he's been seeing and what a lot of people see. I think just the name Galvin now has just got that sort of asterisk next to it because of the way everyone sort of tried to create that narrative that in 2025 it was the problem for the Bulldogs when it happened. But I think you're going to be hearing Galvin's name for a long, long time. knock on wood, injury free, etc. He'll be a player that should, if everything goes well, have a great career.
All right, guys. We're going to end this in a moment, but we will do our name your Serraldo's Vegas. It could be the 19 that he names to start the round. So I might wait to see if these rule changes change before we do it. It'll be like probably a 2-week or 3-week comp, and the winner will get some Bulldogs merch or some Dogfather merch. I'll give you a selection. Just
some further info on the rule changes. Apparently what's being considered at the moment is they've got the information out to the CEOs, to the coaches for a review. They may be waiting to roll them out in trials and see how it goes before they implement them for the full season. So it may not happen yet, but we may get a look at them in the trials potentially if they haven't made that call already.
All right. No problem.
But, for everyone else, it's been a great 2025. Been a great year supporting the Dogs. My page, and we put a review of the 2025 season as well with the banner. Attending over 20 games this year. So already been highlighting how many games are ready for next year. So looking forward to that. But everybody have a great new year. Stay safe, and see you all 2026, the year of the Dogs.
See you next week, people. See you next Tuesday, as I like to say. Thanks again, Gas, for all your help. Thanks to Pete from All Things Bulldogs, D, Timmy, Scotty, all the usual suspects, and a big thank you to all the people who've joined the channel. Much appreciated. It's a big help. Thank you to Jamie Teasdale, who's parted with his hard-earned quite often in support of us. So much appreciated to you. And thanks to everyone who's had a crack at having a chat and saying putting forward their feedback, letting us know little things here and there. Thank you to all the Bryans of the world who have tried to have a crack here and there. It's all good. Probably need to get a few people to have a crack so I can get warm again. But thank you, Timmy. Thanks to everyone. Been a big 2025. We've gone from 800 subscribers to over 2,000 in under 12 months, which is massive for me. And much appreciated all the contributions that everyone's making, and I hope that can continue, so we can continue to do what we do. It's probably getting a bit late, but if anyone's got a spare $7,500 they want to lend me to go to Vegas, just you know where to find me. If you don't ask, you don't get. It's how the only reason I've got children, to be honest. So wouldn't happen without the little how you going. So
please, sir,
Scotty said Galvin's father would be harder on him than anyone else. 100%, Scotty, from what I've heard.
Yep.
Very much heard that's the case. So he's got a lot of pressure on the kid. All the best, everyone. Dogfather Media, bucket hat. If you want one, let us know. You can get them out to you pretty cheaply, probably $20 or something. There you go. Thank you. And how long have we been? Oh, beautiful. Well, there'll be a few clips going out, guys. The AI will generate some for us, and we'll check it out. And there'll also be the rugby league coach did an interview of me, like a fan focus. So that'll be coming out soon, where he does a lot of Bulldogs quizzes and stuff. I sucked at the 2002 quiz because I tried to put that out of my mind after the salary cap debacle, but I got most of the other stuff pretty well spot on, or I was close to it. So there you go. I'll promote that once that comes out. So take care, people.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gas.
Thanks, mate. See you guys.
See you next year.
Lost in darkness. the Bulldogs lost their way, losing everything and forgot how to play. Along came the kid with long blonde hair. His name is Jeff Preston, do not despair. Doggies fans, are you ready? Ready? Yes, we are ready, ready. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Prestomania, mania, mania. Prestomania, mania, mania, mania. Prestomania, mania, mania. Memories of Barrett's boys hurt us as we hang.